Welcome to Ice in the Bible Spring Gathering Week number 9, Sibylline Oracles. The question today, what happens when humanity places love above force? Today we explore the ancient Sibylline Oracles, prophetic writings that speak of the rise and fall of kingdoms, the purification of the world, and the renewal of humanity. Beneath the imagery of the fire, collapsing empires, and celestial signs may lie a deeper question: can a civilization built on force endure? Or does harmony return only when humanity remembers love, truth, and balance? Glad you could join us today. Couple quick things about what's happening in the sky. As we've been stating, the shingles, measles should show up this year because of Juno's retrograde cycle, right? She went forward, and she's now going to go back, and then, but we know that this is quite the cleanse. It will be quite the cleanse for people with the dance of Juno and Pluto, right? So we've been talking about this, right? This dance is going to happen. So Pluto's already in retrograde, and Juno goes retrograde right on June the 5th, and it's shingles and measles. So what's happening around the world? Well, in Bangladesh, major nationwide measles outbreak 2026. United States, highest measles resurgence in recent decades. Canada confirmed that regional measles clusters. Mexico, Europe and Central Asia. Global measles outbreaks reported across multiple WHO regions, WHO CDC in 2026. It's not a virus, folks, it's a cleanse. Mother Mary Magdalene's doing it, all right? So we have so much proof, and we called the last one, the little outbreak, when she went retrograde, but this one's going to be a big one. This one's going to be a big one. When you start hearing the medical industry's version of this cleanse, in other words, a virus, I don't watch the news, but I was told there's another cleanse upon us, and people are going to make a profit. They will have to meet Sybil, which is Isis, which is the divine feminine inside. People are really going to meet their maker, which is themselves, and they got to start telling the truth, because these cleanses are in the sky. It's not a virus. So just know that. Be brave. Just know it's a cleanse. It's in your chart. And if you get a cleanse, it's not no virus, and you can be brave. The only time we should not be brave and to worry is when you're not doing your forgiveness process and love. When you're not doing the love over top of force. That's when you got to worry, because that means your waters are going to be cleansing. And if they do, you just do the 5-step, because you know that's your own noise coming your way. Okay, one more slide of what's happening in the sky. The new moon, May the 16th, 2026. So I just wanted to show that this moon will hold the essence of relationships coming and going, because you're going to have the new moon with Ceres, and Ceres is the harvester of a relationship. So people come and go in lifetimes, and it could mean they leave the visible, or just different relationships. Every day when somebody new comes into your view, it's relationship. So we're infinite, but it's up to you when you want to have relationships and when you don't. Many voices will be heard, and many muted for not using their words with only love. Why is that? Because guess what? This new moon is and Ceres is on what? Algol, and Algol is the throat. Hopefully there's a release for somebody we know. All right, so many wounded healers are going to be at play, because what do we have? We have Mars and Chiron, and it's aligned the Andromeda galaxy, which is chains. This fire energy that needs to be tamed and understood and balanced with love. Some people will be chained, Andromeda, and that's when we started talking about people are going to get arrested. Some people are going to go in chains, and many will be released from karmic bondage, which some of us already are experiencing that, where we're feeling the love and not so much the lack of bravery. And then I just want to show you that today at 222, the moon, and right now the moon is basically aligned with Saturn, Father Time, and it's over top of Magneto Mary. So Saturn is going to be, for people from my age, from 1961 and younger, Saturn is going to be hitting your Mother Mary. And so what am I doing on this day? I'm talking about Sibyl, and Sibyl is another word for Mary, Isis, Eris. So we're upon a jubilee. The etymology of Sibyl is a prophetic feminine voice announcing the turning of ages. So these Sibylline Oracles are a collection of ancient prophetic writings preserved in Greek and later transmitted through Byzantine, Renaissance, and esoteric scholarly traditions. Although later editors blended Greek, Roman, Jewish, Gnostic, and early Christian material into the surviving text, the oracles preserve far older themes involving cyclical ages, celestial signs, Egypt, fire, floods, the rise and fall of kingdoms, and the mysterious Phoenix cycle, not the bird, the Phoenix cycle, connected with the world renewal and transformation. So rather than reading like ordinary history, the writings move through repeating patterns of destruction, birth, purification, and rebirth, echoing ancient cosmological traditions centered on recurring ages of humanity. One of the most striking discoveries within the text is the passage where the Latin translator suddenly stops translating and preserves the original Greek phrase describing the arrival of the Phoenix cycle. I'll show you that very briefly. This unusual choice suggests the phrase carried layered symbolic meaning beyond a... So this book is an attempt at translating the Greek version, just so you know. So here's that lens I spoke about. So if we look at text through this being your filter, you're not going to be able to get down to the nitty-gritty of what the truth is. So the Renaissance editors themselves acknowledge that the Sibylline Oracles contained fragmented passages, symbolic acrostics, and layered meanings requiring interpretation and commentary. They're talking about the Latin side, because there's going to be a Latin side and a Greek side when we get into it. This raises an enduring question: were the texts truly corrupted through time, or had later interpreters become disconnected with the older symbolic cosmology encoded within Greek tradition? Remember, the Ptolemies did everything in Greek, right? Because they were learning what was on the Egyptian walls. So the lens we use to translate is so important, because without foundational wisdom, our lens is blurred. The Phoenix rising cycles is Revelation 12:1, and we'll talk about that a little bit further as a reminder. But every 558 years, I want you to look at these dates, 210 and 1465, because those are Phoenix rising numbers. And so whenever we go through a catastrophic cleanse, scholars will always hear about the cleanse and try to figure out why. So that's why this Latin translation in this book of the Greek writing was done in 1544, which was just after the 1465 Phoenix rising. When we go through resets, and then we see all these resets all around the world, and we're wondering why man didn't do it. Spirit did it. Spirit takes down what man builds. So in the book, you'll see Latin translation and the original Greek. The Latin came from, like I said, 1541 or 1544. And then the original Greek was in different books and pieces put together from 200 BC to 400 AD. And again, 200 BC, there it is. The last Phoenix rising was in 210 BC. So in 200 BC, of course, we're going to start going, what the heck happened, right? And that would have been a major one, because that would be our fall from Aries into Pisces. So that one would have been a major one. So on the left-hand side, again, the Latin translation, which goes through the lens of the eye, but
so sorry, and not only that one, it was the start of the new cycle.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's where tropical astrology aligns with sidereal astrology, and the seasons of the sun align, but then they forgot to change every 70-something years. So 100% it was the start of the new cycle X.
that's why Pisces is at the left of the table. It's a start of a new cycle. Yeah.
Correct. So we're going to lead the witness here because this is so simple that we want to understand what this is proving. Note that after we go through a phoenix rising and fall of Babylon, scholars always try to figure out why it happened, not realizing the cycle. And again, these are the cycles. And we have proofs that this alignment happens because we leave monuments behind, like at 77W in Washington, right? So there are 8 books in the Sibyl, and are like nothing you've remembered for quite some time. When you have a foundational lens, again, then it all makes sense. So we will focus on book 8 and a quick mention of book 1 and 5. But book 1 concerning the beginningless, unoriginated God, you're infinite and we're cycles. And then we're going to talk about concerning the Latins, the woman and the serpent in book 5. And book 8, terrible wrath divinely sent upon the world in the last times, book 8, which is, we're going to show you, is the same as Revelation. And Revelation 12:1 is that phoenix rising that is still in the Bible, so it's still in there. So in book 1 of the Sibyl, concerning the beginningless originated God. So we're just going to look at the title just to show you, because again, we're just going to touch on this quickly. Again, the title is about a beginningless God, unoriginated. So, and then it shows you the word in the Greek, anarcho. This is very important philosophically. It does not mean chaotic. It literally means without beginning, without first cause, without ruler over it, primordial, eternal source. So this translation here is saying, in the Latin, Sibylla, a prophetess, seer among the Greeks. So they talk about this prophetess. They talk about this divine feminine. This book is filled with it. It mirrors so much in the Bible, but you have to understand it. So in book 5, I just want to read a couple of lines. And the woman having fallen upon an unseen spirit breath, there's your Sophia, shall establish ordinance law amongst peoples and shall subject all things. You're going to notice that in some cases, in the Latin translation, they put back the original Greek because they just can't make sense of it, because they don't have the lens to do it. When you know that this is a cycle and it's all divine feminine and it's all phoenix rising, which means we are changing. The inner ego Babylon falls, and we are all experiencing our inner Babylon falling. And so what those 3 lines translate to, unto 10, who afterward shall rule, proceeding upon the first shall be ruler. And it might be of the deepest ocean shall come as a receding tide water under the growth of the Ausonians. When you start reading all these, you just seeing this. So concerning the Latin, the woman and the serpent, you can just see that they're talking about waves, possessions, beginnings, war, people calling themselves a god, yet he shall be reproved, judged for what he is. So we're all being judged for what we are. So again, I just wanted to show you how they are not translating some of it because they can't find the meaning of it. So the book of 8, that I want to spend a couple minutes on, is the terrible wrath divinely sent upon us, the world in the last times. So it translated these. So in original Greek, when in Egypt there shall arise thrice 5 kings. The next line says, when the phoenix cycle of 5 periods comes, we're on the 5th sun, okay, changing into Aquarius. The Mayans say the 4th sun. No, we're on the 5th sun. So, and then there shall come a people overturning chosen tribes. So the people out there that think they're the elite, but we're totally out of balance, they lose their wings, their rule over their own world, which is all coming into our world, but we all created it, so now we uncreate it. So over on the Latin translation, after Egypt shall produce thrice 5 kings, okay, and then it shall come to ravage various nations, okay, but they didn't rewrite this one. They didn't understand this one when the phoenix cycle of 5 periods comes. So here it is. You can see on the right-hand side that it put the exact same thing except for this little portion at the beginning. So this mysterious phoenix cycle line was deliberately left untranslated in Greek within the Latin text itself, suggesting the phrase carried layered symbolical meaning beyond ordinary chronology. Rather than simply describing a literal bird or a fixed 500-year period, the preserved wording appears tied to a cyclical world renewal, Egyptian prophetic symbolism, age transitions, and the collapse and rebirth of civilizations. This little section here that was removed means from that point thereupon. So again, the cycle has been taken out because they don't understand it's a cycle, because they put us in a linear historical narrative. So which reduces all these flow sequences of all these writings, when we know that the Bible isn't a beginning and an end. The Bible should have been written in a circle, because after Revelation comes Genesis, generation, Isis, and that's why every animal, every insect is given us guidance, always. So, as we know from many interpreters, the theme of the Sibylline Oracles are that of the Book of Revelations. And this is foreshadow themes of the Book of Revelation, the Sibylline Oracles. That's on Wikipedia. And we know from all our studies, we have done that Revelation 12:1 is the Phoenix rising marker cycle to watch for in the heavens. This is exactly what Sibyl means. I got you 1 second, Kat. Sibyl, prophetic feminine voice announcing the turning of the ages. It is Revelation 12. Revelation 12:1. Now a great sign appeared in the heaven, a woman clothed with the sun with the moon under her feet. This is the cycle that happens every 558 years. The Sibylline Oracles are the exact same thing that's written on the Egyptian walls. It's in the Bible. The divine feminine love comes in us, cleanses us, and we rebalance the whole world. It's absolutely no way we can ever not let this happen. The Sibylline Oracles repeatedly centers on collapses of old kingdoms, celestial signs, purification, renewal of ages, and a feminine prophetic voice announcing transition, cycle through the ages. Kat?
Yeah, on the previous screen, I was zeroing in on the words, and what I saw was depopulendum. So I looked it up, and on the left, in the yellow,
Yep.
Depopulendum is depopulation.
Yes.
So maybe we need to look up that entire sentence. Just
Right.
curious about that.
Yeah, that sentence says, it shall come to ravage various nations. People leave the visible. That's why they're making money giving placebo pharmacy out. If you don't do your inner work, you cleanse, you could leave the visible, but you come back. So it's not man-created depopulation. It is our own individual choices, karmic actions that we do, that force over love, that makes us cleanse. And if we have to go to a new womb, we will go to a new womb. It really is that simple. So that's depopulation. So no man itself, no one man is designing a depopulation. Nobody can depopulate you. Only you can. Only you can. And if somebody is bringing me out of the visible, then that means I'm in a karmic battle with them over the lifetimes to which we didn't do our forgiveness process. We didn't wave the white flag, so we're going to keep taking each other out, but we keep coming back till we resolve. We're infinite. So yeah, 100%. I'm glad you picked up on that. Alexander?
Let me remember you of my interpretation of depopulation.
Okay.
Depopulation. So it's the caterpillar that becomes butterfly. So you can see a nation as a we are, each of us are a nation. We are all a gathering of different energies and we are populated inside. So also look at it like that. That's all I wanted to say. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. The pupa. I love it. Yeah, we're always the caterpillar and the butterfly.
Yeah, and the pupa in Dutch is pop, and we have been a formidable force in the passing ages. When in the golden age we sailed many lands and we had many influences in language exchange.
Rosemary?
Going to say a depopulation is we are all emanations of source and different perspectives. It simply would be the integration back into love of every single one of us that is perspective.
And when I see, for instance, these gatherings that were what were they called? Always our queen was there as the main character. These yearly gatherings of elite people. What was it called? Started in Holland in a certain hotel with a certain name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The unlit.
Yeah.
The prodigal sons and daughters. Yeah, and that's what they're saying, the fall of Rome, because those who've gotten their wings, because when you go look at their charts, they got their wings from their previous lifetimes, but then you get what you want, and so that starts manifesting this way, right? And we're all part of it, and then then if they don't realize that, oh my goodness, I'm not, I'm unlit, because look what the world's out of balance. What am I doing to put the world in balance? Because me having more than everybody else doesn't put the world in balance.
Yeah, but at the same time, they have knowledge of what is happening.
But they're making money off of it, so they don't have the divine knowledge. They have a book. They know that, hey, on such and such a time, this is going to happen, and then they go and make money off of it. That is deception. That's the crow. That's the raven. And so they're all being reminded, like the rest of us, no one is exempt. Their wings will burn. Of course, we don't want them to. We want them to come to the revelation that it's bigger and deeper than what they think, because money is not spiritual. Our actions are spiritual, is love versus force. Yeah, thank you, Lex. Last slide. Thank you, Rev Cat. She put into AI force versus love, and this is beautiful, because force pushes, creates resistance, creates struggles, builds walls, becomes unmovable, creates big waves, and you want to make the soft waves, because when you make the soft waves, they float you. Love invites, softens, cooperation, acceptance, opens the heart, allows the flow, as we all know. And that's all we have for today.